Hey everyone, Tin Man here, back with some more Dota Underlords. Some ranked mode up in Lord of Whitespire. I think I'm 200 and something-ish ranked, so pretty high up on the ladder, hoping to keep on climbing. So what do we got here? I think Venomancer is still going to be my top pick, even after the recent patch to Mr. Warlock here. He's received quite a bit of a buff, and I think he moves up quite a bit in priority, actually. His damage on his spell excuse me, has been quite a bit increased, and the healing component, if he chooses to heal with his spell, will now heal for a big portion of it right off the bat, and then a little bit of portion on the heal over time. That eliminates some of the possibilities where he casts the heal on somebody who's about to die and they don't really benefit from the heal very much. That being said, I still think Venomancer is one of, if not the best, tier 1 unit in the current meta, at least in the early game. And Chainmail, one of the best, if not the best, tier 1 item. So much armor, so much survivability. Just numerically, it's just stronger than other options. The reason Venomancer is so good, Savage. The Savage bonus is so strong early on. And we'll pick up a pair of Enchantresses here to enable that even further. Whenever you have just this constant damage over time with a set amount of damage, say 5 damage per second, that's naturally just going to be stronger early on when opponents have 100, 200, 400, not very high life totals compared to later in the game. It starts to get a lot weaker when people have thousands of life total. At that point, the flat damage of 5 or 10 damage per second, not so impactful. But early game, definitely want to play lots of Savages. So Embarrassment of Riches is a pretty good item, and I'm actually not as high on this item as a lot of other people are. I'm going to pick it here, but only because Tranquil Boots and Brooch of the Martyr are pretty bad in my opinion. The Tranquil Boots, for much of the same reason, just doesn't have the numerical, just doesn't hold up to something like Chainmail. You need a very specific set of, sorry, one second. You need a very specific amounts of damage to make Tranquil Boots better than Chainmail, and in almost all cases, Chainmail is going to be a better defensive option than something like the Boots. And same idea with Brooch of the Martyr, except the extra mana gain is just not as relevant as you'd like it to be. It's a pretty small amount of extra mana gain, and the debuff resistance just not very relevant. There aren't too many debuffs where getting that 50% reduction is super impactful. Here we have an option of a 2-star or a tier 2 item, Arcane Boots, and I think I like Arcane Boots. We've got some spellcasters right now with Venomancer and Enchantress. And some Witch Doctors. I like Witch Doctor a whole lot right now, especially if you get him early up to 2-star. He does a lot of work. This Paralyzing Cask, the stuns are like deceptively powerful because it stuns for, I think it's about a second and a half. I'm not positive, but it stuns 7 times at 2-star. Like, imagine somebody like Chaos Knight, right? Chaos Knight can deal a bit more damage with his ult, and it's a single target. He can deal like 100 or 200 damage with the ability, but then that's it. It hits one target, hits them for a couple hundred, and maybe stuns them for 2 or 3 seconds. Whereas Witch Doctor stuns 7 targets for 1 second each, and then deals 75 to all 7 targets. It's so much damage compared to something like Chaos Knight. Obviously, it has a much larger cooldown, but in a lot of fights, you're only ever going to want to cast it once anyway. I want to pick up... I kind of want to pick up the Wind Ranger here, if I'm being honest. Despite the fact that nothing here really goes well with Hunters, I do like Hunters as a strategy in the current meta. I think if they're uncontested, they certainly can put up some good results if you get some 2-star units. And so for that reason, we're going to put out a Beastmaster and maybe get him a kill or 2. Or maybe it just makes more sense to grab a second Venomancer. That's probably a bit better to ensure that we win these rounds right now. Venomancer will get to cast pretty easily with Witch Doctor giving him some bonus mana from the Arcane Boots. And then the Plague Wards are just really powerful to continue stacking the Savage Bleed, because they themselves are Savages. As you can see, they have the Savage ability, so they'll continue to stack the Bleed, and like I said, the Bleed is very powerful early on, and they'll just go crazy. And they also trigger the Warlock bonus, the Warlock healing, so they did quite a bit of healing as well, in addition to the Enchantress. Pick up a Timber Saw. If we get a 2-star Timber Saw, that's very strong early game. And if not, I'll feel free to ditch him. What does this next pack hold? Not a lot in any of the directions we're going. Most of this is going towards like a Primordial Assassin Mage kind of build here. These three in the middle. Abaddon, I'm not very high on Knights right now. I don't think they're that great in the meta. So I'm actually just going to sell off for interest. I'm actually just going to sell off, I guess, our Hunters. The very least, the Brownies. Brownies are going to be much more powerful if you get them online early and get them to 2-star, which we don't. So no sense in trying to make those work if it's clear they're not going to be working. No sense to keep on trying for it. I don't know if we win this. I don't think so. Oh no, we do. The bleed so strong, or we tie. We tie. Okay, so that's bad. I kind of would rather take a loss because then we'd at least get a free reroll. Here, the only difference is we don't take 2 damage. So, yeah. Always stinks to have a tie. So I don't get the free reroll. I don't get to do much else. I could pick up the pair of Lunas here after interest locks in. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Or I could sell off everything except the Witch Doctor. Hope that we win, which would give us the interest because we get the gold for winning before the interest calculation goes into effect. So if we win this fight, we'll get the 20 gold, so we'll have 2 points of interest. But if we lose, which looks likely because our Witch Doctor didn't do anything, we're going to just get the 1 gold of interest. It's a worthwhile risk. The units that I could have picked up there were not really going towards the strategy that we're looking at right now. We're kind of looking at like maybe transitioning to like Savage, Savage Warrior, Warlock, some combination in there because of the Witch Doctor and Venomancers already. We could go towards Knights, but I really don't like it, as I've said before, because they're very weak to the Savage builds. The Savage builds do pure damage with this bleed, and it goes through the Knight's armor reduction, or the damage reduction, rather. So they take kind of full damage from that. So I think just in the interest of grabbing interest, I want to sell off the Lunas. Kind of stinks to sell off a pair here, no matter what the pair is, but in this case I think it makes sense. Because somebody like Pudge does kind of fit into this build later on, because you want Necrophos, who's a good Warlock, to go with these other Warlocks, and then you want Heartless, because you're already halfway there, and Pudge provides good frontline. So Pudge is a natural pairing into this type of build. That's why I don't want to get rid of him, even if he doesn't go in right away. And then Morphling and Drow Ranger, we'd be taking that same kind of risk, that we'd only get up to 19 instead of 20. And we did get the win here, so we don't need to reroll just yet. Don't need to use that free reroll, it won't get overwritten. And I'll just pick up some other things that I may be interested in playing. Another Savage, another Warlock, and any Warriors, but these other guys not so much. So here in round 9 we naturally level up, and I can throw in Shadow Fiend if I want. Would that be the best option? I think what I was trying to do is I want to buy these 2 guys and then use our free reroll. There we go. So we actually found an upgrade, because we had a lot of pairs with the pair of Witch Doctors, pair of Tusk, pair of Morphlings, and then I'll just sell off the Drow Ranger to get back up to 20. Because I wanted to use the free reroll there because we had the extra gold to spend. Like I could sell something off if we found it. And we had so many pairs that, yeah, like if we hit a Tusk, we'll replace one of the Venomancers with a Tusk. Or something along those lines. We had a lot of ways to do it. But here we just got blown up real quick. Look at their damage output. Somebody like Morphling hitting all of the little spawns and relatively low health guys just shredded us. Do they have the mage buff? No, they don't have the mage buff. They have the assassin and primordial. Alright, well, fair enough. We get another reroll, another free reroll. That's fine. I'll take losses for, 3, 4, 5 damage at this point in the game, rather than taking draws for sure, or even wins sometimes, if we're not on a win streak. So I'm not too interested in playing Morphling long term, and I may just sell it off here for interest, because we're going to get up to 27 gold. because 5 plus 2 interest. And that, to me, means I can just sell these guys off to get up to 30. And then we can pick up the Pudge and the 2 Drow Rangers after combat starts up. And then, because it'll be the creep round. And then we can, well, have a bunch of pairs again. Pair of Pudge, pair of Tusk, pair of Drow Rangers, pair of Venomancers. I'm not going to use the free reroll just yet because I want to buy these things, so I don't want to buy them first and then use the reroll, because then I would lose interest on this turn, and I don't want to use it after I buy these things, because right now, because of the blacklist mechanic, which means that whenever I click the reroll button, anything that's still in the shop cannot appear in the next shop. And yes, I would be blacklisting Lena and Razor, but if I wait till next turn, I can blacklist all 5 units if they're not good for me. And if they are good for me, I just buy them. So that's part of why I don't use the rerolls right away. I kind of save them to the last possible moment to take the most advantage of that blacklist mechanic to hopefully, squeeze the most value out of it. So here's a Summoning Stone. That's really good if we want to go more savages. Fall from Grace is good if we want to fit in some more humans, but Summoning Stone is like still a premier item. Probably one of the best items in the game, if you ask me right now. So there's the 2-star Tusk. Let's put that in over one of the Venomancers, and I can still get some upgrades, and I still have some gold to spend without losing interest. So let's just use that reroll right now. And we don't hit anything, so a little unfortunate, but no big deal. And I think I want to move this chainmail up to the Tusk, and maybe kind of shift off to the side here to kind of funnel more attacks onto my Tusk and a little bit less onto the Enchantress, who's now a bit more vulnerable without the chainmail. Tusk, of course, has a lot more health, so armor, he gets to use the health for, or he gets to use the armor for longer if he has more health total. Unfortunately, still going to lose this one because they pretty much have our build, but better. They have, I know they still only have 2, but the Queen of Pain dealt quite a bit of damage. And they have a 2-star Venomancer, which we do not have. No matter, though, we will get the free reroll here in a moment and hopefully hit some of these upgrades. Still at a reasonable health total, about middle of the pack. Hey, there's the Venomancer, perfect. Yeah, let's use, well, one argument for using the free reroll right now, so what would I get? If I got a Pudge, right, I would have to buy the Pudge, and then I'd have to put him in over Shadow Fiend, right? Because he's my only 1-star unit left, which would be like a fine replacement, I guess, but it's not like a strict upgrade. Like, Shadow Fiend does a lot of damage. I guess it would be a lot of health total upgrade. But even so, even in that best case scenario, I still need to sell off either the Shadow Fiend or a Drow Ranger in order to get back up to 40 gold of interest, because it'll cost me 2 gold to buy the Pudge. And that's just really not that appealing, because I'd rather just make sure I lock in the 40 gold of interest before using the free reroll. Here I did lose, so I need to use it before it overwrites, but I do it after interest locks in, so it's not like I'm going to be losing any interest here. And we don't even get anything good. Assassins have been buffed quite a bit in the latest patch. Well, assassins themselves haven't, but particular assassins have. Bloodseeker and Templar Assassin in particular have gotten a pretty nice little bonus in the recent patch. So that's why I'm not too unhappy picking up the Phantom Assassin. But I'm just going to level up here because it's a good time to level up. It just cost me one set of 4 gold, and I essentially get to put in a 2-star Treant Protector. And then I'm going to sell off that. I probably should have sold off Morphling, actually, not the Phantom Assassin, to get up to 40 gold. Probably should have sold the Morphling instead, because I could have grabbed the pair of Phantom Assassins. Although I'm not even sure we want to go Phantom Assassin long term because we have the Summoning Stone, which doesn't really play well with a Assassin build. Much more focused on Venomancers, Lycans, Lone Druids, Arc Wardens, etc. Alright, so we get the win, so I don't need to use this free reroll just yet. I guess I'll pick up the Phantom Assassin just in case. But because if we get out to 2-star, we'll still play it. And actually, I should swap these 2 around, right? So Treant's closer to the front. There's another Phantom Assassin, but I don't really think I want to go that way. Tidehunter works pretty well because, well, he's just a really good unit, and the natural weakness of this build is magic damage, and actually looking around, nobody seems to be going towards mages. Or maybe this player. Maybe just one opponent's going towards mages, so maybe I don't really need scaled, but even so, if you get Tidehunter to 2-star, he does a lot of good work. Just that big AoE stun, hitting 2 squares away for 2.25 second stun, just all kinds of good stuff. So I would not be unhappy to have a 2-star Tidehunter, even if I don't need the scaled that much. But even without a lot of mage players, there's still a lot of just incidental magic damage in almost every opponent's composition. Almost every opponent's going to play some level of magic damage. The little plague wards that could. 2 plague wards taken on 2 real units. That's awesome. Alright, so we'll be up against the creep round here in a moment. So I'm going to flip my formation here so that the wolves jump into my more tanky guys who are in the back. And it doesn't seem like the Shadow Fiend's really going to come together. Shadow Fiend's a lot better at 2-star and then at 3-star. I just kind of picked him up because he's a warlock, but doesn't really seem to be coming together. So we'll be looking to kind of replace him with Pudge into Necrophos or something along those lines. Yeah, look, if we look at our alliances, the next unit we want to put in is either going to be a warlock, or we could cut a warlock or add in a savage. So one of these two, like when you have 3 of something on a 2, a 4, 6 synergy, it means you can either, your next play should be either to add that to complete it, or remove it, and therefore you can add something else to complete something, because it's just very inefficient. We only have tier 1 of these synergies despite having extra units of each. Ooh, Big Time Contract or Smuggler are both really good. I don't want Dawning over Stool because I want to be healing. I don't really think I'm going to want to play too many of the Bloodbound. I've seen some people run like 6 Warlocks with new Mr. Warlock, and it's not the worst. I'm actually just going to level up to 7 here and put in the Pudge, and I'm going to sell off the Shadow Fiend to get up into interest, and then I put in the Drow Ranger so we get her Precision Aura, but also get the Heartless bonus. I would have liked to put in a Savage if I found a Lycan or something, but did not find one. Lycan or Lone Druid or Sand King. And I wasn't about to use the reroll for a lot of the same reasons I laid out before about not wanting to use the reroll when you don't have the excess gold to spend, when you're right kind of on the border. Alright, we get the win, so I don't need to use the reroll just yet. I'll probably use it once the shop refreshes here. And yeah, this is looking pretty good. We do want another Savage, and we can, well, there's no one we can really replace for it. No one who's like not contributing anything. There's a 2-star Pudge, that's nice. Pudge is probably going to be better to hold the chainmail now, and I'm going to kind of offset my line a little bit backwards so that more aggro goes on Pudge, who has a lot of health total and the extra armor. So let's use the free reroll here. There's a Sand King, but who could I replace it with? It's really not. Pretty much everyone's already contributing, so we'll just hold on to Sand King. If we hit him to 2-star, it'd be pretty good to add him in at that point. Oh boy. Okay, we definitely want scaled against this kind of lineup. They just, oh boy. That Morphling Queen of Pain, just 6,000, 7,000 damage right off the bat. Ugh. One huge burst. Craziness. Yeah, scaled bonus is going to be important to protect us against that. Because if we can survive that initial burst, I think we start winning the longer fight. But if we don't survive that initial burst, we do that. Where Witch Doctor didn't even get a single attack off? What? He had 0 damage dealt? That seems a little absurd. I know he died quick, but like, come on, he should have at least autoed once. I don't know. Let's use a reroll. There's an Arc Warden. That's pretty sweet. And a Lycan, who also makes summons. I'm just looking for things that make summons, right? So in that idea, we can... Actually, I kind of want to put in, like... I don't know if it makes sense to throw in a 1-star Lycan over essentially a 2-star Treant, because it does give me the Savage bonus. I guess we could have done that with Sand King too, but Lycan's a lot more appealing because of the Summoning Stone for our Lycan Wolves. And that obviously doubles our bleed damage, making us a lot better in these long fights. Not so good in those fights against the mages who just blow us up really quick. Do we tie? No, we don't. Ah, 2 life. Get out of here. 2 HP. Oh, man. Alright, well, we'll take a free reroll here. Our life total's a little low. 60-ish. It's about 10 lower than 3rd place, I guess. 12 lower. Not, like, super interested in Kunkka because we don't have Fall from Grace. Lone Druid, that's what I'm interested in. That's a lot better. That fulfills the Savage and the Druid bonus, so it's essentially a 2-star Lone Druid. And then I'm going to give him the Arcane Boots, because Lone Druid only has 60 max mana, meaning that if he'll get up to 50% max mana a lot quicker. And I'm not spending my gold above 50 here because we want to just spend the excess towards leveling up and then reroll a lot at level 8, because we really want to hit these 4-cost units, and that'll give us another little increase up to 15%. So we can hopefully hit the 4-cost units like Arc Warden, Lone Druid, Tidehunter, and maybe Sand King if we decide that's the direction we want to go. Remember, we're looking for summons, we're looking for probably the scaled buff to counteract these mages, and we start to try to move away from Savage later on. We don't really want to stay all in on playing 4 or 6 Savages later in the game, just because it starts to fall off, as we discussed earlier. Okay, we'll pick up another Sand King. I mean, I'll definitely play a 2-star Sand King if it comes together. We'll just pump our gold in here. Probably looking to replace Tusk at some point as well. And maybe even Witch Doctor. He's fine early on, but as the boards grow bigger and bigger, his Paralyzing Cask starts to look a little bit dinkier and not quite as impactful. So hoping to find like a Bracers of Desperation. That would be really ideal to put on the Lone Druid instead of the Arcane Boots, just to get him a second bear. Or just a good like damage item for the Arc Warden. A good attack damage or attack speed item. Mask of Madness not quite. Battle Fury, best item? Yeah, I mean, I guess. I'm not thrilled about Battle Fury because we don't have a big like physical melee carry. Lycan could be that if we get him upgraded. So I'm going to roll quite a bit here trying to find some sort of upgrade. So Doom would be a reasonable guy to fill that role. Actually, he may just be better than that because he gives us the Warrior bonus, and he is a pretty good holder of Battle Fury because he has the Demon bonus, so that extra attack damage is really amplified even more. Probably don't want more Witch Doctors, and I'm looking to replace this Drow Ranger. She doesn't do much other than provide Heartless, which is definitely something, but we could provide it better with something like Necrophos and actually have an impactful unit. And of course we get like a 2-star Sand King that can also go in. I probably don't want to get up to 6 Savages. I don't think that's really where we want to go. How much damage did Doom do there? And that was a pretty pitiful amount of cleave damage in all honesty. More Lycans, yep. Another Lone Druid too. Let me roll a little bit here. There's a Sand King. Okay, so Sand King is probably going to be better than Tusk. I mean, I lose the armor. Yeah, maybe it's fine.
This should be quick.
Lose the Warrior bonus, but maybe that's okay. Sand King's pretty impactful. Big AoE stun. Plus just the Caustic Finale explosion of damage. Alright, so like I said, I do want to move away from savages, or do I? Because I think we want to take advantage of Arc Warden. Definitely want to take advantage of Arc Warden. We are moving up in the standings here. We're still pretty strong, but I'm afraid this is going to start to fall off and become a lot weaker sooner rather than later. So there's the Necrophos. That's perfect. Keeps our Heartless. Gives us an extra Warlock, which means we can kind of cut the Witch Doctor if we want to do that. And then that also means by doing all these little changes, it means that we can cut these different things, and now it makes sense to cut the Doom to add in the 6th Savage. So we get up to 6 Savages. Once again, this is not maybe the best long-term solution in this build, but for right now, 6 Savages is still pretty strong, even if it starts to get weaker after round 30-ish or so. But for right now, let's get rid of the Witch Doctor. I don't think we want him ever back in. If anything, we're going to want keep like 4 Savages and maybe, I don't know, maybe all 6. I have no idea. But we want to get like Arc Warden, maybe Doom and Tidehunter in as well. And I just put the Battle Fury out on my most resilient melee attacker, who can stick around for the longest and get most attacks off utilizing the bonus attack damage. So there's another Doom. I kind of want to level up from here, right? And level up and put in either the Doom or the Arc Warden, whichever we can get to 2-star. I'm going to do that around 25. That's when our interest, or our gold experience, that's the word I'm looking for, will be a multiple of 4, so that we can efficiently level up. And we don't have to kind of overspend like we would have to if we wanted to level up on this turn. It'll be after a creep round too, although this is hurting a lot. Remember when I was saying I liked hunters? That's a hunter build that I like. But they have Fall from Grace. They did not. They're actually using the human bonus. Oh boy. Ugh. That was way more than I was expecting to take. Did not think that would happen. But yeah, 6 hunters. 6 hunters, 2 heartless can be pretty darn strong. They have everything to 2-star and a 3-star, where I'm still rocking 3 separate 1-star units. So not really ideal. That's okay. We're up to a creep round here, so we can take it a little bit easy. We'll just pump our gold into levels, and then after the creep round starts, we'll finish it up to 9, and then just start rerolling quite a bit, I'll say. Want to reroll a lot because we've got a lot of things to upgrade. If we can hit a lot of these things to 2-star, like the Doom or Arc Warden, plus Lycan, Lone Druid, even Necrophos, that would be really, really ideal. And if I'm looking around the table, I guess there is 2 people on mages, so yeah, I do want to put that higher priority on getting scaled, but that's always the hardest part with this build, in my opinion, is how to figure out how to fit in the scaled while still maintaining your other synergies, especially when you have Summoning Stone. It really encourages you to play these Savages because they have summon effects. So it's a little difficult for me to figure out when that's appropriate. But if there are two people playing the mage buff, then you probably want to find a way to do it. Here's an Octarine Essence, which I think is really good on Necrophos, and Scythe of Eyes and Dagon are a little bit lackluster to me. If I found like a Moonshard or Daedalus or something, I would definitely be interested in using it on the Arc Warden. I don't really want to try for Doom. Another Tidehunter. Another Arc Warden. Still have a couple upgrades we could potentially get out there. Oh, I wanted to move this Battle Fury over to Doom. It's fine where it's at right now, but I think it would be better on Doom. It's not horrendous where it's at, though. On the Sand King. Ooh, that's a scary Terrorblade. I think we still got him, though. Nice. The Plague Wards, the 3 Plague Wards carrying us to victory. Enigma has lost a lot of his luster to me. He's pretty good with the Arc Wardens, but outside of that, it's a little, not the greatest. There's a Lycan. There's Necro. I don't really want to go for 3 stars on these things. We're too low on gold, really, to go for too many 3 stars. So I think I'll just pass on that. I still want to fit this. We would need Slarter, right? I want to put in... I guess what I'd have to cut is like Enchantress Tusk, right? For Tidehunter Slarter or Tidehunter Medusa or Tidehunter Slark. I'm really just delaying that until we get a 2-star Tidehunter. I think that would be the ideal time to try to make that swap. So sorry, I just got a text. I've got to never mind. It can wait a moment or two. So there's an Arc Warden. All right, I'm gonna start replacing some of these guys because I think Arc Warden is impactful enough. There's a Lone Druid. Okay, sweet. We even got a 2-star Lone Druid, so that means I can. No, I still think this is probably correct. We lose the 6 Savages, but still starting to be a little bit lackluster. Oh no, not a Queen of Pain right there. Okay, we're good. I thought she was gonna kill everybody with 1 shot. Everybody else, the Keeper of Light killed everybody with 1 shot though. All right, so we're really gonna look for Slarter or Slark or Medusa here, and we want to cut the Enchantress and maybe a Sand King even. I don't know. Sand King doesn't summon anybody. Doesn't take advantage of our good summoning stone. And Doom I think is just better than Sand King on a 1v1 basis. So there's a Slark. Is it worth it to make that swap right now at 1-star units? I don't know that it is. I don't know if it's worth to make this swap for just 1-star units. I would get scaled bonus, but it's a lot weaker against any non-mage opponents. So, like, this person's not a mage opponent, so I don't want to do that. So yeah, I think we'll hold off on that until we hit 2-star on at least Tidehunter. If it's a 1-star Slark, I can deal with that. But if it's a 1-star Tidehunter, he does so very little that it's just really bad. And we're eliminating some people. Okay, sweet. So we're at least top 5. And based on our health total, hopefully we're at least top 3. We're obviously never going to be able to level up again. That's pretty much out of the cards. It's a creep round here. So I think we just sit tight and then just let this play out and see where it gets us. Alright, really hoping for like a refresher orb type effect, preferably on, Lone Druid or, Lone Druid, or just some big attack damage item for our Arc Warden in the back. Something big for him to utilize. One of those two would be the best. I think probably the Arc Warden is a better thing to equip. So in that case, I think Daedalus is a little bit better for us than the Refresher Orb. I think the Daedalus is going to add a lot more damage to our board than a potential of a second 2-star bear, because eventually we're going to probably cut this Enchantress. Hey, there's the Tidehunter. Okay, so let's do that cut. We said this for the Sand King, right? Oh, there's a bug. Something not showing up. Wonderful. Oh my god, and there's the Venomancer. Beautiful. Alright, we got a 3-star Venomancer. That's pretty nice. We're not up against the mage, so it's a little unfortunate, but still, the Tidehunter alone is probably really good. And now Arc Warden gets to do lots of damage. Look at that damage output. Right up there with Doom. Could potentially be even more. Alright, just another couple of rounds and we should hopefully finish this game out strong. Want to get Slark upgraded or possibly get a Medusa. That's pretty much our remaining options here. I don't want to reroll if it's going to cost me. Like, I won't be able to buy a Slark if I reroll again. So we'll just wait till next turn. Kind of maybe set Venomancer back a step. Give him a little bit more safety. Well, not against an assassin, it won't. Ooh, this Queen of Pain. It's gonna be painful. Ugh, even with scaled buff, we still got crushed there. So how would we play around that? We basically need to bait the Queen of Pain to the wrong side. So do something like this. Trying to bait her off to the left side by moving Arc Warden up a step. And then this way maybe it jumps off to the left side and maybe we can deal with it before it kills our Arc Warden so quickly. So no Slark. By Lycans. Getting Lycan to 3-star would have been a very good strategy, but we were a little bit low on gold from rerolling pretty aggressively and just did not have the chance to really get too many Lycans. But Lycan to 3-star is like a really good option in a lot of cases. Oh, that Terrorblade's still gonna go crazy on us. I don't know if we got it. Oh, the bear got on it. Sweet. The bears. That's not enough. Ooh. They just out-warriored us just a little bit there. They've got 6 warriors and damage is not quite intimidating against 6 warriors. So these are the 2 people left who apparently we're not beating either of right now. So, not entirely sure what to do about that. I don't know if there's much we can do other than hope we get Slark and hope that's good enough. Probably won't be. Oh well. We'll see what happens here. We're probably going to face the Phantom here, and the top 2 players are going to play each other. Yes. Just kind of based on we've played both of them in a row, so it kind of does like this rotation thing, but that's not necessarily good. I mean, the Phantom's just as strong as the real version. And this is looking better. Our slight repositioning seemed to be effective, or maybe just doom with the right target. We dealt with that Terrorblade quickly enough. Alright, so we win here. Tempestlev almost got eliminated, but not quite. So we'll go to the Dragon, and then we'll be into the next round. Or be into the next phase after the Dragon. So we want another good item. We want Refresher Orb type effect this time for Lone Druid, or actually for Tidehunter is probably more preferable. Oh, I guess I could have bought that Lycan. I think Lycan 3-star is pretty much a pipe dream at this point. I don't really know if there's any more upgrades we can get. We're not close to anything. We're not close to leveling up. We're not close to any upgrades. It's really just get an item and hope that's good enough. because really we just have like one bad fight away from being eliminated. So I didn't really plan to like go too much longer into the game. So it looks like we're almost certainly just going to get second or third place. I don't really think it's that likely that we get first, because everybody else has higher levels, a bit more gold, a bit more of a bench, like a pipeline for upgrades, and we do not have that. So, well, we'll see how it goes. Bloodthorn. Hello there. Unfortunately, Tombstone has been nerfed pretty hard. It still says within 2 cells, but that is not true. So Bloodthorn's actually really cool on Arc Warden. You get to silence two different people. That sounds sweet. Let's do that. I guess I don't even know what I'm rolling for. What are we even looking for? Another Arc Warden. Something along those lines. Alright, well, we'll let the chips fall where they may. This may be our last turn, but in any case, this has been a pretty successful game, I think. All things considered, we've done pretty well. If this is our last turn, so be it. Hopefully we can pull out the second place here. Oh, we're actually doing really well against this opponent. Looks like we're almost certainly going to get... Well, if one way to play beats Tempest Lev, who I think is the mage opponent. Oh, they have an Aegis. Okay. Uh-oh. Actually, we might lose this. That's a Troll Warlord with a Mask Madness. Pretty hard to punch through all that. Oh boy, we did lose it. Oh no, and that's enough to kill us. Oh, I thought we were so good, but the Troll Warlord just kept on healing up. Alright, so Tempest Lev unfortunately had an Aegis, which prevented us from getting second, but it was a pretty good effort for us. So I hope you enjoyed this. Thank you so much for watching. If you did enjoy it, make sure you like and subscribe, and I will catch you next time. Thank you so much for watching.